Big revelations just dropped. Special Counsel Jack Smith has unleashed a bombshell 165-page legal document packed with evidence against Donald Trump, accusing the former president of orchestrating plots to overturn the 2020 election. The case might not hit the courts until after 2024, but the details are jaw-dropping. We're talking allegations that challenge Trump's claim to presidential immunity and raise serious questions about whether his actions cross the line of executive power. Buckle up, because this is just the beginning of what could be a historic legal showdown. Smith's case largely revolves around Trump's intentions leading up to the January 6th Capitol riot. The evidence indicates that Trump was aware his claims of widespread voter fraud were baseless, but continued efforts to cling to power regardless. According to Smith, Trump's objective wasn't to ensure election integrity, but rather to disrupt the democratic process in order to stay in office. Here, the issue of intent is critical. If Trump knew that the election was legitimate but still acted to overturn it, it could significantly weaken his defense. One particularly notable event took place on January 6th, when Trump, alone in the White House dining room, tweeted criticism of Vice President Mike Pence, accusing him of lacking the courage to reject the certification of Joe Biden's win. This tweet coincided with rioters attacking the Capitol. Prosecutors argue that Trump was well aware of the escalating violence and, when informed of Pence's evacuation, reportedly responded with indifference, saying, "So what?" Trump later released a lukewarm statement calling for calm, a response that his own advisors felt was inadequate. The timing of Trump's actions during the riot is very telling. His apparent indifference to Pence's safety and his delay in calming the situation could further indicate his intent to let events play out in his favor. The document also outlines several instances where Trump and his allies made unsubstantiated claims about voter fraud. In Arizona, for example, they provided wildly varying estimates of non-citizen votes, ranging from 36,000 to several hundred thousand, ultimately settling back on the original figure. Despite promises to present evidence of this fraud to Arizona's Governor Doug Ducey, Trump never produced any proof. Behind closed doors, Trump reportedly admitted the weakness of these claims, once telling his daughter Ivanka and son-in-law Jared Kushner that it doesn't matter if you won or lost the election, you still have to fight like hell. This section underscores how Trump and his team knowingly spread false claims, which, if true, would seriously undermine their credibility. Admitting the weak foundation of the claims while continuing to press them could point to intentional deception. The brief also touches on Trump's association with lawyer Sidney Powell, who is known for her theories about voting machine conspiracies. Despite privately ridiculing her assertions as crazy and unhinged, Trump still considered appointing her as special counsel to investigate election fraud. In a separate incident, Trump's former campaign team is accused of inciting violence at a Michigan polling location in an effort to cast doubt on Biden's victory. One employee, later identified as a co-conspirator, reportedly encouraged a colleague to make them riot. Trump's relationship with Powell shows a disconnect between his public actions and private thoughts, raising questions about his true beliefs regarding election fraud. The push for violence in Michigan adds another layer of seriousness to the allegations. The legal filing also delves into Trump's communications with key allies, including Steve Bannon, just before the Capitol riot. Hours before the insurrection, Trump spoke with Bannon, who then ominously predicted on his podcast that all hell is going to break loose. Prosecutors plan to present phone records and social media activity to demonstrate Trump's involvement in the events of January 6th, including his focus on Twitter and Fox News coverage of the riot. Bannon's warning and Trump's communications right before the riot suggest coordination, or at the very least, awareness of what was about to unfold. The prosecution's use of social media records could be crucial in proving Trump's involvement. Another significant point involves Trump's sidelining of his official campaign legal team after the election, opting instead for Rudy Giuliani to lead efforts to contest the results. According to the document, Giuliani's performance was marred by numerous missteps, including sending a key document intended for Michigan lawmakers to the wrong number. Giuliani's elevation to this role was largely influenced by Bannon, who told Trump that without Giuliani, this thing is over. The decision to replace the campaign's legal team with Giuliani, despite his errors, seems like a desperate move. This could suggest that Trump was willing to take extreme measures as his options dwindled. In conclusion, Smith's brief portrays Trump as a leader intent on maintaining power by any means necessary, even if it meant disregarding the rule of law, the truth, and the safety of the American public. The summary paints a stark picture of Trump's post-election behavior, leaving little doubt that Smith's case will argue Trump prioritized his own interests over those of the nation. Whether or not the evidence holds up in court will be the next major development to watch. Quick disclaimer: everything I'm discussing about the legal case involving Donald Trump and Special Counsel Jack Smith is based on publicly available information and my personal interpretation of it. I'm not a legal expert, and this video represents my opinion, not definitive facts or conclusions about the case. Things could change as the situation develops, so I encourage you to follow along with credible sources and draw your own conclusions. Let's keep the conversation respectful and open-minded.